in today's gospel, Jesus is talking about hypocrisy without naming it, without saying that he's talking about hypocrisy. Because he's referring to a life of deception. You know, a life of deception is a life that shows you this particular color when actually it is not that particular color. So if you have someone in your life who shows you that they are this type of a person, and they've given you all the reasons to be with them, to trust them, to entrust with them even some of your property or your property, say, this is my friend, this person, I can give them whatever I have to keep for me, and I'll find it. They've given you that reason, but actually what they are is totally different from what they have shown you. You only come to realize that they deceived you when something bad happens. When maybe they scam you, or they run away with your property, or they just do something that destroys the image that you had of them. We do meet in our life such people. Maybe we are the ones that deceive other people. We are the ones that paint this particular picture when actually we are not. We are not what we paint. Jesus is talking about a tree and the fruit. He says a tree is going to be known by its fruit. Meaning that if you find a mango tree, or if you find a mango fruit, immediately you know that this mango fruit fell from a mango tree. You have no reason to believe that this mango fruit fell from a guava tree. I don't know, maybe through the process of grafting, the agriculturist maybe can argue against that. Say, okay, maybe there was some kind of grafting, but if we are just talking about a tree that grew naturally and started bearing fruit, if it is a mango tree, it's going to give mango fruits. Yeah. What does this say about our Christian life? The fruits in this case are the actions that we produce, the attitude that we have towards life, towards other people, the way we approach other people's affairs. These are the fruits that we show. This is the picture that we paint. And the tree is now what we are. And the question that we can ask ourselves is what we are tallying with what we show out there? Okay, what we are is Christian. I am a Christian. This is what I am. This is my identity in as far as my relationship with God is concerned. Now, if this is what I am, what about what I'm showing? What about the fruits that I'm producing? Do they go with what I am? Sometimes maybe yes. But most of us, many times, we find ourselves producing the fruits that do not tally with what we are, or what we claim to be. And that in itself is the life of deception that Jesus is referring to. And that, again, is hypocrisy. He says, if you are good, from a good heart will always come good actions. From a bad heart or an evil heart will always come evil actions, because you know that you cannot give what you don't have. So, the first thing to work on, if I want to give good fruits out there, the first thing to work on is my identity. It is what I keep within myself. It is my heart. That is the first thing to work on. Meaning that I need to be what is authentic, not what seems to be true, but what is true. If I am a Christian, I shouldn't just seem to be a Christian. I should actually be a Christian. If I have a good heart, I should not just give an impression of a good heart. I should actually have a good heart. Being authentic is what is going to help me to give the actual fruit, the authentic fruit as well. But if I am A and I am producing B, then people don't even know who I am. Maybe I don't even know who I am myself in the first place. Because I have a confused identity. What I'm showing is different from what I am or what I claim to be. Jesus wants us to be this particular thing, and also to have fruits that tally with what we are. And in this case, we're talking about being a good Christian. We're talking about being a good disciple, having a good heart, and producing the fruits that go with what we are. You and I want to follow Christ. We want to be referred to as good disciples. But it cannot just be by name to say, okay, I'm a disciple. There should be something to show that actually I am a follower of Christ. Many of us just end up at the name. I am a disciple. I belong to this lay group. I belong to this church. I'm a Pentecostal church. I'm a SDA. I'm Catholic. I'm Watchtower or a Jehovah's Witness. I am that. I am that. I am that. Okay, and it just ends there. But what about the actions that we produce? Do they go with what we claim to be? Maybe that is a question that each one of us can answer. Jesus is saying, from a good heart will always come good actions. From a bad heart or an evil heart will always come bad actions. But we cannot be disciples and have a bad heart or an evil heart. Then we are confusing our identity. If we want to be good disciples of Christ, then it's not a question of choosing between having a good heart or a bad heart. Automatically, it goes that we should have a good heart. And if we have a good heart, then again, automatically it goes that from that good heart should come good actions. And that in itself, in the comprehensive manner, is what gives us authenticity. It is what gives us a true image of what we really are. Identity and actions emanating from what we are. Jesus says, why do you call me Lord, Lord, and not do what I tell you? Again, coming back to the same point of deception. We have a lot of people out there who shout, Lord, Lord, who claim they are Christian, who spend hours and hours in church, meditating, praying. We have a lot of people out there who seem to be helpful to the church, who are ever present, shouting, Lord, Lord, seeming to be present to the church and to God. But then Jesus is saying, why do you call me Lord, Lord, and not do what I tell you? He's saying, why are you spending the whole day at church when actually your actions are not reflecting, you spending the whole day at church? If you are married, for example, you are married, you spend the whole day at church. Is it praying? Is it meditating? Is it watering flowers at church? Being a volunteer in that manner and the other manner. But then when you go back home, you start beating your wife or you start beating your husband. Sometimes husbands are beaten. It's embarrassing to say that my wife has beaten, but sometimes they're beaten also. So you go back home, okay, in short, you go back home and cause havoc in the family. But then what were you doing at church? You come back home, instead of bringing peace into the family, into the house, instead of being helpful, instead of being, the pillar of the family, a symbol of unity and all that, you become the fountain of discord in the family. And then the question is, you spend the whole day at church. What did you go to do? Mmaenda uchita chani kuchalichi. Nichanche mene machita, mukabwera kuno ni ndeo chabe, ni pokoso pa nyumba. And what are you really? We confuse our identity. What we are showing, to others does not reflect the actions that we produce. So, today Jesus is asking us to, yes, quite all right, shout, Lord, Lord, but also to allow our actions reflect what we are shouting. If we shout, Lord, Lord, in other words, if we are disciples of Christ and we declare that we still want to be disciples of Christ, then our actions should also show that. Sometimes it is difficult. We can make that acknowledgement. Sometimes it is difficult. You really want to be a good person. Even St. Paul, I think somewhere complains, he says, I want to be a good preacher of Christ, to be an evangelizer. But sometimes I just find myself sinning. I just find myself doing the wrong things. Sometimes it is difficult because the space in which we live, the space in which we have to do evangelization, this world, this society, will push us into some corner that makes us, react in a particular manner, and a manner that does not reflect our Christian life. But we should always remember that when we fall in that manner, we don't belong to that fallen state. We should remember to rise and continue trying, continue fighting the life of sin, the reality of sin, continue fighting whatever is drawing us away from God, so that we remain on that path. But if we fall and we remain there and we start enjoying our being fallen, then at that moment we have confused our identity. We are not authentic anymore. Let us pray for ourselves today through the intercession of Chrysostom, St. John Chrysostom, that we may be inspired you may be inspired to preach the word the same way that he did, as he was referred to as an eloquent preacher, but to preach it even better through actions, not just words. Amen.